Welcome to episode 1 of The Playbook, a weekly show where I make decisions and figure stuff out so that you don't have to. That's right, I figure out the menu, figure out what to clean, what to plan, what you need to do to even entertain yourself. I'll give you suggestions for books and podcasts and YouTube channels and shows that are on TV so that you don't have to go looking for all that stuff and do all the figuring out. You are a busy mom and you are constantly being asked questions and having to make decisions, and sometimes you just want someone to make the decisions for you, and that is what this show is all about. I am MacKenzie Koppa, and I am a 40-something single mom of older kids. I am also a freelancer, and I get what it's like to be juggling all the things and having all the people asking you all the questions all the time. And this show was spawned out of my love for YouTube and my wanting to come on this platform for a lot of years now. More than I would like to admit. I've dabbled, I've come in here or there, but I was really trying to figure out solidly how I could help people, how I could show up in this space and really bring something that's going to be beneficial to other women. And I was talking with a friend the other day and giving her recommendations about books and shows and a podcast that I thought she should listen to because I am nothing if not a recommender of all the things. And I was joking with her saying I should start a YouTube show where I just make decisions for people, because she was going, I don't even have time to look for this or know where to find different shows. I just don't watch anything or do anything because I'm just trying to survive. And I was like, well, I should start that show where I just make the decisions. And I was joking, but she looked me dead in the eyes and said, where do I sign up? And I was like, ding, ding, ding. I think I found my answer. So here we are. Here we are with this little show where every week I'm going to give you the list of things. The list of things will also be in the description and in my weekly newsletter. If you would like it to be sent right to you, it will have links to everything so that you can find everything really easily. I'm also going to do the monthly version in my Patreon community that has been around for a lot of years now, because I had a podcast for 9 years. It was a whole thing. You can still go back and listen to those episodes. It's called Live Well Anyway if you want to check out any of that. But my Patreon has been running for a really long time, and I thought this would be a fun thing to be able to offer over there. So if you want the whole month, the whole shebang that you can print out and put on your fridge or put in your planner or do whatever you want to with it, then you can come over to Patreon and get that at the beginning of every single month for just $8 a month. It's going to have everything laid out for you. It's going to have a tracker for all of the things and other little fun bits and pieces too. But if you just want to hang out for each week's release, then you can absolutely do that too. It'll be right here and in my newsletter, which you can find in the description below. Okay, so we are about to jump into the playbook for this week. Everything that I recommend that you do to be on top of your life and enjoy it as well. Take care of yourself and all that good stuff. But before we get there, I just want to make note of something really quickly. This is not meant to be a master to-do list. You are not meant to check off all the things on this list. It is not a competition. This is a list for you to be able to take what you need from. It is not meant to be one more thing piling on top of you that you think that you should do, and no, we are not doing that here, okay? You take what you need from this list, whether it's one thing, no things, whether you're like, she's nuts, that's fine. But you can take what you need from this. It is not meant to be a burden on you, okay? It's meant to make things easier. So take it for what it is and don't overcomplicate it. This coming to you from someone who's really good at overcomplicating it, okay? I get it, but this is not meant to be that. I'm trying to relieve some of your burden, okay? So let's get on with the show. Okay, step 1 of the playbook is to start with a plan. I recommend that on Friday, that's my ideal day, do it on Saturday if you have to, but I think it's a great time on Friday to take 10 or 15 minutes to review the last week and prepare for the week ahead. It allows you to put your brain to bed a little bit for the weekend and be able to enjoy the weekend more and already know what it is you might need to prep over the weekend so you're not figuring out those things in the moment. If you already know what the groceries are, if you already know what all of those components of the next week are, then you don't have to worry about trying to figure it out on the weekend. So these are the questions that I like to ask. What worked about this last week? and what didn't? What memories do I want to remember from this last week? Were there any funny things that my kids said or any events that happened that I don't want to forget and I want to be able to look back on at the end of the month and at the end of the year? It's a good time to just make little notes about that in a planner or in a journal. And then to also do a quick brain dump for the week to come. What do you need to get done? What things have maybe been lingering that you've been needing to get on top of? What deadlines do you have? What events do you have coming up? And this is also a really good time to look over your calendar for the next next week and wrap your brain around what is coming. For me personally, I have like my master calendar in Google. I have another YouTube video that's all about color coding your calendar and honing it all in for a busy mom life. But I like to take everything from that Google Calendar and actually put it into my paper planner. Now, this is my preference. You do you and figure you out, but I like to put it in. I'm gonna see if I can do this one-handed. I go through day by day. I know it's colored and it's got washi tape. You don't have to do that. And I don't always do that. I should give that caveat as well. That's just highlighter. That's not washi tape. But I just go through, and for each day, I like a daily format. Some people like a weekly format. Again, you figure out what works for you. I go through and I fill out the whole week. Everything that's going on, everything that needs to be in my planner. If you want an in-depth video about how I do this, I can absolutely do that. Let me know in the comments. But I do that so that I have my brain wrapped around the next week. I find that when I actually write it down, with my little hand, I tend to remember it better. And I tend to not miss appointments or miss things that are coming up as much when I actually put pen to paper and figure it all out. So that is step one of our game plan. Just spend 10 to 15 minutes getting your brain put to bed from the past week and prepared for the week to come. Next up, let's talk about eating. Okay, that's one of the biggest things that we're all having to make decisions about like all the time. And these people that are in our lives just keep wanting to eat every single day. So it's best if we have a plan and we don't get to 4 o'clock every day and not know what's going on. So in this game plan, I actually have your breakfast and your lunch along with your dinners. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown of this, but if you actually go over to the link that is in the description or in the newsletter, it will take you to Plan to Eat, where you can become my friend and get all the menus downloaded for you along with all the shopping lists and recipes. So it's seriously that simple. But what I recommend for breakfast is a protein coffee. If you haven't listened to the Mel Robbins episode with Dr. Stacey Sims, then I highly recommend it, or just anything with Dr. Stacey Sims. She talks about having something within a half an hour of waking up in the morning. That could be its own episode altogether, but just make sure that you are getting something in your stomach to help fight those cortisol spikes that can happen early in the morning for us ladies. So I like to do a protein coffee, and the breakfast that I have decided for us for this week, which feels weird, but that's what we're doing here, is I've decided to do a loaded avocado. What the heck is a loaded avocado? Well, I just do usually half an avocado with some hemp seeds, sunflower seeds, sometimes a little Parmesan cheese. Sometimes I will cook up some bacon and crumble that on there. And it's almost like an avocado granola bowl, sort of, but without granola. It's got the seeds and the bacon, and you could leave that off if you want to. You can really customize it to be the flavors that you like. I'll put a little bit of everything but the bagel seasoning on there, and it's just yummy and hearty. It fills me up, gives me all that fiber and healthy fats, and helps me feel like I'm getting going in the morning. So that is our breakfast for this week. I also like to make one lunch on the weekend that I can then eat every day of the week, because we are nothing if not keeping things simple here. So for this week, what we are going to do is a ground turkey and veggie saute. This is very simple. You just cook up some ground turkey, throw in your favorite veggies. A lot of times I will do like shredded carrots and Brussels sprouts and simple stuff like that. I cook it up in butter because I like butter and I don't have a problem with it. I season it with some garlic salt and onion powder, get it all yummy and just softened, put that in a bowl in the fridge, and I just scoop some out every day of the week. I'm a big fan of the Parmesan cheese. I'll put that on there when I heat it up for my lunch. It's simple, it's ready to go, it's delicious, and it's really nourishing. Okay, now let's talk about dinner. We are going to keep things simple again this week because we are heading into the busy season of the school year. Holy goodness. I have a son who is graduating from high school. It's a thing. Okay, so what we are going to do for dinners this week is it is going to be Mexican week all week long. And if any of our people have problems with it, you can just send them to me and just let them know, take it up with MacKenzie. I didn't make this decision. She did. Okay. So what we're going to do is on Monday, we're going to cook up a ton of chicken. Put it in the Instant Pot. It'll cook up really quickly. Throw it in there with some garlic, onions, some spices to make it all Mexican-y. I like to put in a lot of cumin and oregano and some diced chilies. I'll have an actual recipe if you go through the link. But I cook all of that up like 4 or 5 pounds worth of chicken on Monday. Then on Monday night, we'll do tacos. On Tuesday, we're gonna do loaded quesadillas. On Wednesday, we are going to turn it into tortilla soup. On Thursday, we're gonna turn that same chicken into honey lime enchiladas. And then on Friday, we are going to have the rest of the leftovers. You're like, we've been having leftovers all week. I know. But we're gonna have the leftovers of the soup and the leftovers of the enchilada. And if there are still people hungry, we're just gonna throw together some nachos with whatever's left over. It's all that simple. You cook the meat once, you throw it into some other dishes throughout the week, bada boom, bada bing, you're good to go. Okay, I'm also going to give you a cleaning task because if you're like me, then you don't have a housekeeper, as lovely as that would be. And because you don't have a housekeeper and you live in the real world and you are a busy mom, that means that not all the deep cleaning is happening. If all your deep cleaning is happening, I'm probably not the girl for you, and that's okay. I applaud you. You are incredible. But if you're like the rest of us, then welcome. I am your people, okay? And we are just gonna focus on cleaning the kitchen sink this week. We're gonna get in there, we're gonna scrub, we're gonna get out the stainless steel scrubber and get through all the little places that all the stuff can accumulate. We're gonna go around the faucet, because sometimes there's like calcium deposits there and you really kind of gotta get after it. We're gonna clean the disposal. I'm gonna put a link in the description to a great little disposal cleaner that I think works fabulous. It's natural, it's easy, you just throw it in there, it foams up, you're good to go. But we're gonna focus on this whole area. Wherever your hand soap is, or if you keep your dish soap on the counter or any other knickknacks around the counter, backsplash, we're cleaning it all. We're deep cleaning it all this week. And then if you want an extra little notch up for the week, try to go to bed every night with the sink empty. Now I'm going to tell you a trick here. I'm just saying to keep the sink empty. You might have dirty dishes, just don't put them in the sink. Put them on the counter. And before long, keeping them on the counter instead of the sink actually makes you want them to not be on the counter. And it's a good motivator to just go ahead and put them in the dishwasher. So try to have your sink be empty every night before you go to bed this week. It's such a game changer when you get back into that habit if you haven't been in it in a while, and it can really make a difference to how your mornings go. So this week is all about the sink. And now to wrap things up, let's do the fun part. Let's talk about the stuff for us that we want to enjoy and do to be taking care of ourselves during the week. And sometimes that's a little bit of content, okay? So here are my quick recommendations for what you should be watching and reading and listening to over the next week. First of all, a podcast. You've probably heard of it already, but the telepathy tapes is bonkers, crazy town, and so interesting, so well produced, and really thought-provoking. It's hard to explain, but basically, go with me here, okay? Non-verbal autistic people are being found to be telepathic. I know that sounds crazy. Listen, just listen to it. If you don't walk away convinced, just go into it with an open mind. It is so interesting. Okay, so the telepathy tapes. Next up, a show that I think that you should watch that ended up being so much better than I thought based on the cover of the show, which I know is silly, but The Residence on Netflix. Chef's kiss, Shonda Rhimes, so good. It's about a murder mystery at the White House, and the world's best detective is brought in, and she is this quirky gal who loves birds, and she's so smart, and it's so well done. Every episode leaves you wondering who else it could be. They keep adding more people to the list of possible criminals who would have killed the guy. It's so good. It's not scary, it's funny, it's really well done. Go check out The Residence on Netflix. Okay, now let's talk about YouTube, because we're on YouTube and I love YouTube, and YouTube was actually watched more than Netflix in 2024, if that gives you any indicator with how popular it is. So I want you to start with this channel if you haven't found them already, which 4 million people have, which you could definitely be one of those, but Kara and Nate on YouTube. They are a couple who has been traveling for almost a decade. They just recently bought a house for the first time in 10 years because they've just been traveling. And their story is incredible. They are so sweet. They're a great dynamic couple, but they're really real. They've been to over 100 countries, and the level of production that they put into their channel now, I mean, these little look like wildlife documentaries. Not everything they do is about wildlife, but they have some really incredible episodes. Recently, they did one with polar bears up in Canada. The husband, Nate, just went on a heli-skiing trip with all of his best friends who all mostly have YouTube channels as well, and they're really fun to watch. So definitely go check out Kara and Nate if you haven't already. And finally, if you want something to read, I recommend the lighthearted but also romantic and so fun Sarah Adams series, When in Rome. The newest book, Beg, Borrow, or Steal, just came out about a month and a half ago. I finished it. It was so good. There are some open door scenes, so if you're sensitive to that, then make sure that you are aware of that. But I just love everything by Sarah Adams. I think that her character development is really good. I love the way that her characters interact, and they're complex and they're fun and they're real, and I want to be swept away by one of the men in one of her books. She just does such a good job. So be sure that you check out the When in Rome series. That is what I started with and what I highly recommend by Sarah Adams, or really anything else by Sarah Adams, but definitely the When in Rome series. All right, that was it for this episode. I know, a little longer than I thought it would be, okay? But we had a lot to cover, a lot of reasoning behind this whole thing and all that jazz. So future episodes probably won't be quite as long. I'm also planning on releasing episodes on Tuesdays that will be more focused in on just like one specific topic. So if there is something that you would like me to cover more in depth, be it about planning or skincare or how to make money online and survive as a single mom, then hit me up. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see more of here. But you can expect these playbook episodes every Friday along with my newsletter. So tune in, find all the links below. I can't wait for us to form a real community around this and get going and making the most of our lives. Thanks so much for being here with me. I will see you again very soon. But until then, you've got this.